Staying objective. Avoid letting personal bias. Influence your review. Objectivity is a fundamental principle in academic writing, especially in Chapter 2. Review of related literature of a thesis. This section requires a neutral and balanced examinations of existing studies relevant to your research. However, personal biases can sometimes unintentionally shape how sources are presented, interpreted, or excluded. To maintain objectivity, it is essential to rely on credible sources, critically evaluate research findings, and avoid subjective interpretations. This guide explores why objectivity is crucial, common biases that affect literature reviews, and strategies to ensure a fair and balanced analysis. Why objectivity is essential in Chapter 2a. Ensures credibility and academic rigor. A literature review should be based on facts and evidence, not personal opinions. A biased review can make the research appear unreliable and unprofessional. B. Allows a balanced representation of existing research. Objectivity ensures that all relevant studies, both supporting and opposing views, are included. If only research that aligns with personal beliefs is included, the review loses credibility. C. Helps identify genuine research gaps. A biased review may exaggerate the importance of a research gap. An objective review accurately highlights areas where further study is needed. D. Strengthens the study's conclusions. A well-balanced literature review builds a strong foundation for the study. If bias is evident, readers may question the validity of the research findings. Common biases in literature. Reviews. Type of bias description. Example confirmation. Bias favoring studies that support a preferred hypothesis while ignoring opposing. Views. Citing only research that shows social media improves learning, while ignoring studies that show negative effects. Publication bias. Preferring studies that report positive findings, while ignoring inconclusive or negative results. Excluding studies that found no significant effect of a teaching method. Language bias using only sources in a familiar language and ignoring studies in other languages, reviewing only English language studies. Even if relevant research exists in another language, methodological bias favoring studies with a particular research design while disregarding others, only considering quantitative studies and ignoring qualitative research. Recognizing these biases is the first step in ensuring an objective literature review. 3. Strategies to maintain objectivity in Chapter 2a. Use a comprehensive and balanced selection of sources. Include a wide range of perspectives rather than relying only on sources that align with personal views. Review studies with different methodologies and conclusions to present a complete picture. Example of biased review. Research on online learning has overwhelmingly shown positive outcomes, proving that it is the most effective method of education. Revised version with objectivity. Studies on online learning present mixed findings. Some research highlights its advantages, such as flexibility and accessibility, Smith 2020, while others note challenges like decreased engagement and technical difficulties, Johnson 2021. The revised version presents both positive and negative findings, ensuring balance. B. Avoid subjective language and personal opinions. Use neutral and academic language, rather than emotional or persuasive. Wording. Avoid phrases like clearly proves, obviously correct, or undoubtedly the best approach. Example of subjective language. This study is groundbreaking and provides undeniable proof that technology is the future of education. Revised version with neutral language. This study presents evidence supporting the role of technology in education, but further research is needed to determine its long-term impact. The revised version removes overly strong claims and keeps the statement fact-based. C. Cross-check multiple sources. Before drawing conclusions, compare findings from different researchers to ensure that the conclusions are well supported. If studies have conflicting results, discuss both perspectives rather than favoring one. Example of a one-sided conclusion. Studies consistently show that leadership training improves employee performance. Revised version with balanced perspective. While some studies indicate that leadership training improves employee performance, Brown 2019, Lee 2020, Others suggest that the impact depends on workplace culture and training methods. Garcia, 2021. The revised version acknowledges both supporting and opposing viewpoints. D. Avoid overgeneralizing research findings. Ensure that findings are presented within their proper context. Avoid making broad claims that go beyond what the study actually proves. Example of overgeneralization. All students benefit from project-based learning. Revised version with specificity. Research suggests that project-based learning can enhance engagement and critical thinking in many students. Jones, 2020, though its effectiveness may depend on individual learning styles. Miller, 2021. The revised version acknowledges variability in research findings. E. Be transparent about limitations in the literature. Identify gaps or weaknesses in existing studies rather than presenting them as absolute truths. Discuss methodological limitations or areas where research is still inconclusive. Example of ignoring limitations. Current research proves that artificial intelligence, AI, is the most effective tool for education. Revised version with limitations acknowledged. While research highlights the potential of artificial intelligence, AI in education, Chen, 2020, Smith, 2021, some studies note challenges such as accessibility and ethical concerns. Garcia, 2022. The revised version presents a more nuanced and accurate perspective. F. Use reliable and diverse sources. Rely on peer-reviewed journals, books, and credible sources rather than opinion-based articles. Avoid relying too heavily on a single author or study. Best practices. Use a variety of sources: journals, books, government reports, etc. Ensure sources are published by reputable institutions. Cross-check findings from multiple authors to confirm consistency. Final checklist for objectivity in Chapter 2. Does the review present multiple perspectives rather than favoring one? Is the language neutral, avoiding subjective or emotional wording? Are sources diverse, including different methodologies and viewpoints? Are conclusions supported by multiple studies rather than personal opinion? Are research limitations acknowledged rather than ignored? By staying objective, Chapter 2 of the thesis becomes a credible, balanced, and academically rigorous discussion of existing literature. Avoiding personal bias ensures that the review fairly represents the research landscape, allowing the study to contribute meaningfully to the field. If you find this content helpful, subscribe to stay updated on the next tips for writing chapters. 2. Feel free to comment below with topics you'd like us to cover in future content. Thank you.